Whether, of course, there may be varying mixes of this depending on the categories. Okay, of course, proficiency with devices, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Certainly, we can have it freely online in every local language. Internet access, navigation, email, maybe in local languages, and so on. Then basic transactions and services access, data archive, security and ethics. There are certain ethics to be followed. Secure habits of, for example, a credit card transaction and things like that, or how to make a PE payment and so on. Then content creation, audio, video, and sharing in using maybe documents, wikis, and so on in local language. There is a Wikimedia that is now available in a web plenty freely also. Then mobile skill sets, SMS, tweet, knowing alerts, transactions, then Google search, YouTube, online, and so on. Now Google is also increasingly available in Indian languages, but we are not yet contributing. Same thing with Wikipedia and so on. So we can enrich the people by creating local chapters of Wikipedias and so on. Okay, so now smarts enabled IT citizen. Let us look at practically all the skills put, but we have maybe having 2 courses under DOEC to build that. For below poverty line and this, let us create intermediary workers who will be able to access, or like the Malappuram where we assured that government will pay for one person from every home will get a IT literacy by the cost of the government paid to the common service center. That was the origin of common service center in fact, and I was part of the team when we were building that. In Malappuram district, and later on we took it to make sure they can post agricultural information so that farmers can market their produce and so on. So it kept on growing. Now all districts of Kerala have this Akshaya concept going around. Okay, so for below poverty line who don't have, expose them to the use of common service centers, internet kiosks, useful e-governance service access, citizens access, Akshaya program, even cultural. You can learn music through this, for example. Introduce livelihood-oriented IT skill sets to the class of field persons, Anganwadi workers, value-added services, and so on. Okay, then the prosumer section is going to be very, very important because that is what is going to make the IT localized enormously. Large number of people will need skills on how to use and manage in social networking, education. Every teacher should know, because the students' queries will have to be answered by producing a spoken tutorial, which is a kind of video you can produce without a much camera except a laptop. Okay, both students, citizen-centric e-governance, employees in government, NGOs, industry, and CSC associated services access. Or everybody talks about telecenter. We have to go beyond into the business area, new and mass media services, and because you can localize a kind of video network on an internet for a local community today. It can even play into a mobile. Okay, so they will be producing and consuming content, participating in web group activities, and this can be converted into an enterprise models. And we should now look at such community enterprises. Okay, here is an example I am giving from agriculture. You connect all those organizations that have experts, scientists, officials who are relevant to providing services. You have the database of them. You have some portals here. Then any farmer knowledge empowerment program, and the farmer needs nothing more than a cell phone or borrow a cell phone. I can quote an instance in my own experience from Kisan Kerala. There was a person growing watermelon. You can see the query on the net, and he complained on a phone that his watermelon is sick, the rotting, and he will be losing a lot of crop. What to do? So we asked him, please go and give us a photograph at least of that thing. He did not have a camera, but he could go to the neighboring Kudumbashri, which is an NGO of the Kerala government sponsored NGO, and they took the camera picture largely. Next day we put the thing, and immediately the diagnosis was given by an expert scientist, do this, do this. 2-3 weeks later said, I have a lot of watermelon, how to sell. That was the reaction. That's the kind of thing we can readily let the community themselves do it. So, but it also requires education in building this. So here is an example of how buyers, the retail chains, the extension services, the finance and credit, trade and commerce, agriculture institution, all of them can come through community portals. So a community portal is a community of organizations providing service to a target community of beneficiaries or users. This is the kind of thing we need to now conceptualize, because IT breaks barriers. There is no more, this is ICAR institution, that is agricultural university, this is regular university, and this is a government. That barriers are gone, and we have to build this connectivity in the concept also in terms of community enterprises. Okay, so here are examples of such contextualized areas. For example, you can have an extended Janani Suraksha Yojana. It's a government program for mother and child welfare. Put a portal there. Blood bank and emergency medical care. Very important to have a lot of database. Health assurance services for old and poor, where paramedics can visit the homes and ensure the measurement of health parameters and so on. Localizing SSA primary education. We need tons of effort on this. Introducing education passbook for every youth. I think this is what I think one of the dreams IGNU can pursue, where every youth is given an education passbook. They can flexibly credit courses, not only from IGNU, we will recognize other institutions also in the local universities, and that will kind of provide the inclusiveness of education. Agriculture, virtual farm cooperatives for specific crop areas, e-krishi type market access service, and extension, rural development, and similarly in tourism and culture, you can imagine any amount. So if you look at all that, the skill sets turn out to be, there are skill sets at the back office which are high-tech databases and so on, that you leave it to the professionals who are going to maintain those enterprises. That is good. On the other hand, the target community interactions is like the figurative taxonomy I mentioned, that kind of skill sets, and social networking, mass media. People can take a camera, upload a photo, video and so on. These kind of things can readily be taught. The lower two have to be taught, but you have to complement that by action in the upper two, which is the professional support for community enterprise. I think DOEC should team up with other DIT wing, maybe Dr. S.K. Agarwal's wing. Then you can create all this. Okay, and of course the concerned ministry. And you are going to use all media, gadget or IPTV, television and so on. Okay, so all of them are going to be used, and ICT has no boundaries now. Okay, now it also breaks other boundaries. So what are community knowledge enterprises? Our goal is to reach right information at right time, in the right place, to the right person, in the right context. Okay, and that can be done, and that's a service. Okay, so localizing IT mass literacy means beyond very basic exposures to computer and internet, we must create online web access systems for local community. Then propose 2 levels of IT literacy, mass functional literacy and potential livelihood skills in information management in that area for the local professions. I call them the heart areas, that is healthcare, education, agriculture, rural development and tourism kind of areas. So now you learn to teach that you behave like a web community. That's a great opportunity now, and that becomes a community collaboration space. We can put it in every panchayat now. Okay, so this is the conclusion, so to say, our last slide. So prepare the country to serve Swami Vivekananda's directive. If the poor cannot come to education, education must reach them at the plough, in the factory, everywhere. IT mass literacy should bootstrap the country and prepare every citizen for the emerging times of knowledge society and economy. Make India the true exemplar and practitioner of knowledge society and economy. Can we make that happen? Have people to thank, and that's my last slide. Thank you.